This video is about a concept that I came up with while I was traveling south to finish my van at my brother's house. It's called I'm a Visitor. My brother wanted me to go to Florida so that I could finish building my van. And he offered me to stay at his house. I'm like, wow, that's pretty good. Now you gotta remember, my brother lived in Florida for 20 years. And I never once took him up on an offer to come to his house to stay, because Florida is flat. Flat. I'm a mountain person. I rock climb, I ice climb, I ski race, I do stuff that requires mountains, I hike. I went all over the United States doing these things, even to Canada as well. So to go to Florida before was not my idea, but to have warm weather to finish my van and to do it in his driveway out of his garage, I said, that's worth it. So I decided to leave New York and go south. When one of my friends in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, caught wind of this, and I worked with him at IBM for years, and he said, hey, on the way down, would you stop at my house so I could check out your van? So I'm like, yeah, hey, that's halfway. So I drove to his house and got there, and it was cold there too. I thought North Carolina is going to be warm. It was cold there, but it was so good to stay with my friend Billy Ray and his wife Debbie. And I never knew Debbie before, and Billy Ray was the kind of guy that never was married prior to this, and he deserved a good wife, and he found a good wife. I was so happy. Now by this time, before I even got to my brother's, let's see how many houses I stayed at. I stayed at my sister's house in Pittsburgh, my parents' house in Pittsburgh, my friends across the street, Dave and Mary Ann's house. I stayed at Topher and Gina's house. I stayed at my daughter Jess's house. Now I'm at Billy, Ray, and Debbie's house. And this was all done in around a 2-week time frame, all these houses. And I'm not even to my brother's yet. That's 6 people's houses I'm at. And I gotta tell you, every house runs differently. It doesn't matter. So when I left Billy Ray's to go to my brother's, I had about 11 or 12 hours to think. And I started thinking about this. I'm a visitor. Thought about it. In this world, we're all visitors. How many of us are going to stay here? No, we're just passing through. If we get 100 years, we're probably lucky. And if we get over 100 years and we're healthy, it's like a blessing, unbelievable. So we're just visitors in this world. And when you think about being a visitor, because watch this, I went through New York to Pennsylvania, to Maryland, to Virginia, to North Carolina. Now I'm in South Carolina, and then piece of Georgia, and then I'll be in Florida. None of these states are states that I'm a resident in. So think about that. I'm a visitor in every state, and every state has a different set of rules and laws. If you break a law in another state, chances are you're going to pay for it. Just like when you go to another country and you break a law, sometimes it could be, the consequences could be very, very large. What I found was, when you're a visitor, you don't feel entitled to take anything and be anything. You are just happy to be there and use their stuff. Like when I was in people's houses, I was just thankful to be there. And they gave me a place to stay. It had heat and everything, and there was food there, and there was water there, and a shower, and it was good. And to be a visitor, you have to follow rules. And I've been told by many people I'm a really good house guest. I don't know why. I just try to find out what their rules are and follow them. And I don't feel like I'm entitled to anything. And in this world that we're living in, think about this. And I don't know what the reason is, But there is so much entitlement. We're entitled to this, we're entitled to that. And I don't know if it's because some of the kids grew up with their parents giving them everything. And think about it. When they were, not too long ago, we didn't even have a cell phone. You had to go to a payphone or wait till you got to your home phone to get your messages or to make a phone call or to do anything. Now you have a cell phone, and that even went, at the beginning of that, you were lucky to even have a cell to make a phone call. Now, they're play with me phones. Yeah, I get to play with the phone and do whatever I want. I could search internet, I could do this, I could do that. I could pay my bills online. I could do so many things online and manage things with the phone. And just about every kid gets a phone, and I don't even know what age they get them at. 3, 4, 5, 7, I don't know. But think about it. The entitlement in this world has gone out of control. Everybody feels they're entitled to everything. When you're a visitor, you're just thankful that you're there. And going from North Carolina to Florida, I was in the left lane a couple times, and my van hardly ever sees the left lane. But I was there, and people were driving slowly in front of me, and I remember how that used to drive me nuts. How much road rage is caused by people driving in the left lane and driving very slowly. Think of that. How much does that happen? So as I was driving south, I was thinking about that and saying, you know what? There's no reason to get upset. This guy has a right to be in this lane. And guess what? This isn't even my state. So what right do I have to do anything in this state? I'm just thankful I could be in this state. Think about that. If everybody had that kind of concept, what kind of world would we have? Would our world be better? If there was no entitlement in this world and we were just all happy to be here, that would be nice. But that's not the world we live in. Now, I did mention another word before about respect. And there's something to be said that you have to respect the laws of where you are. Now, I don't know how many years ago, it seems like 20 or 25 years ago, there was this American teenager that went over to Singapore with his dad, and he got caught, I think he got caught graffitiing cars or doing some kind of damage to cars. In Singapore, they don't play games. They were going to beat him with a cane many, many times. Our government stepped in. I think he only got one whack with that cane, but each whack of that cane could ruin you. So what I'm talking about is if we respect everyone and everyone's laws, there's going to be a better world. And when you're a visitor, you learn this respect. Something to think about. Now, I'm not here preaching everything. I'm just telling you what I got out of this. And I'm hoping some other people will hear it and it'll take root in them. Because if everybody had this idea that we're visitors, we'll be more respectful, we won't feel entitled, we'll feel a lot better about life. And I finally got to my brother's in Florida, only to find out that his household operates totally different than every other household I was in. And the funny thing is, I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters. Not one of us is alike in any way, shape, or form. Maybe shape. Maybe, we're close in shape. But the thing is everybody's different, from their political views to how they think about sports, to what they do, to how they live their lives, to what their belief system is. We all grew up in the same house. Our beginning years all started in the same place. That just goes to show that there's no 2 people exactly alike. There is no way that you could have 2 people exactly alike. I was so thankful that I had a place to be to build my van. I was a visitor in my brother's house. They did things differently than I do. They eat dinner earlier than I would. I eat dinner when I get around to it. If I have a lot to do that day, I'm not eating dinner right then. I'm waiting. I'm going to wait until I have the time to eat dinner. They eat dinner early, so I kind of put a squash on their life. Even at one point, I talked to my sister-in-law, who I thought would be putting out of her comfort zone more than anybody. And oh, just as an aside, both my brother and my sister-in-law were sergeants in the Air Force, and they were lifers. They did their 20 years. And they were both master sergeants. My brother was a first sergeant, which is actually a master sergeant. I think it's a little higher, but they were both master sergeants. They were both sergeants. You know how rigid they are? Compared to me, much more rigid. Way more. So I had to live a different way. They also had to live a different way too. So when I asked my sister-in-law how things were going, she said, you can stay. You don't bother me at all. You can stay here as long as you want. It's your brother that's having a problem because he's got to make changes that are making it hard on him. So watch this. I was thankful that they allowed me to be a visitor in their house. I didn't feel entitled to anything in their house. I respected everything that I could in their house. I finished my van, and I'm very grateful to my brother. And here's the best part about it. By me finishing in that van at my brother's, I spent some solid quality time with him as an adult. We grew up in the same bedroom, but never spent time together as adults like this. It got us to know each other, and it was very good that we did it. So now that my van is done, I could go out and have some really good times. I'm always going to keep in mind, though, I'm a visitor. I encourage you to do the same. I thank you for watching this video. I'm thankful for all the subscribers I have. If you're not a subscriber, I ask you please subscribe. I'm going to try to do some really good videos. I have a lot of stuff in the can, so let's see how they come out. Thumbs up. Have a good day.